Little Italy erupting in celebration as their team advances to the Euro 2020 final. Soccer fans enjoying this moment, but they're certainly not alone. Good evening. It's an exciting time for sports, and patios are working to capitalize while following ongoing restrictions. Another big soccer match goes tomorrow, not to mention a potential Stanley Cup champion, and Canadians looking to go the distance at Wimbledon. CTV's Mike Walker is live on College Street tonight, where the celebrations have lasted well into the evening. Mike.
Well, Zoraida, along with soccer fans, many restaurants and sports bars are also celebrating tonight. It's been less than a month since outdoor dining was allowed to resume, and many establishments we spoke with tonight say events like Euro Cup, the Stanley Cup are a critical and much-needed boost for business. Jubilation in Woodbridge tonight. And a similar scene on College Street in Toronto as Italy soccer fans celebrate a big win over rivals Spain in the Euro Cup semifinals.
It was tough. Thankfully they won.
Oh my God, I'm in heaven! Forza l'Italia!
Thousands dancing and chanting in the streets after a nail-biter win that took penalty kicks to decide.
It means everything, you know? It brings everyone together. And that's just what it's about, you know?
It feels like a big community, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Also a big win for the Big Cannoli Cafe, where dozens crowded around two large TVs and the parking lot to watch the game. The owner says reservations for every Italy game have been fully booked.
For a year and a half, I've been putting money into this business out of my pocket just to keep it surviving. So we were just treading water. Finally, it's nice to see that we can start making some money.
And the post-game celebrations that fill the streets has also been a boost.
Oh, it's everything, man. It's everything. Look at this crowd that's here. We need a lot more food.
With patios back in business, it's a critical time for bars that depend on major sporting events.
Phones are ringing off the hook before these events.
Tristan Thorburn manages the 817 Sports Bar on Queen West and is expecting a full house all day tomorrow, with England playing Denmark in the other Euro Cup semi-final and Game 5 of the Stanley Cup finals.
These events are really helping make things possible. They're allowing us to pick up more staff and employ more people. It's really keeping us in business, keeping us going.
Even if the outdoor capacity is only a quarter from when indoor dining was allowed, every seat counts in the rebound from the pandemic. So the Euro Cup final goes on Sunday. Many restaurants and bars we spoke with tonight say they are already fully booked for that game. Others say the demand will be high, and for that reason they are opting for a first-come, first-served basis. Reporting live on Mike Walker. Zoraida, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Meanwhile, it's another critical day at Wimbledon tomorrow, with the hopes that Canada's historic run will continue. Denis Shapovalov and Felix Auger-Aliassime will both play their quarter-final matches.
We have, probably the best young players in the world. So we're hoping to continue that and develop more players. Layla has started to come on. So the future is really bright for tennis in Canada. And this just shows at this Wimbledon that, tennis has arrived and these players are ready to win slams, Davis Cup, Fed Cups, and challenge for the best of the world.
This is the first time two Canadians have ever reached the quarterfinals of Slam. And still ahead tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays open their latest series in Baltimore with a promising start, but the Orioles not holding back. Those details coming up. We have developing news tonight from Markham Road and Steeles, where a man has been shot. This is near Toronto's border with Markham. It happened at about 10 p.m. Toronto police say the victim has been taken to a trauma center by emergency run. Again, the situation is developing. We will bring you any updates as we get them. Well, kids may be focused on their summer sports right now, but the next school year is still top of mind for many parents and teachers trying to plan ahead. The situation in September may feel a lot closer to normal, though, depending on the actions taken over the next few weeks. Here's CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Colin DeMello.
With less than 2 months to go until students return to the classroom, the province is revealing a significant change in September.
Our intention is to restore extracurriculars and sport and clubs. There will be adaptations required by public health just to make them safe, make sure that, we could augment them a tad. It still allows them to enjoy the activity, but doing so in a safe manner.
Good morning.
Those activities were largely sidelined last fall as students re-entered carefully controlled classrooms. The major difference between last year and this year, though, is the provincial vaccination campaign.
What our message to students is, by getting a vaccine, it's an enabler for a more normal return in September, where you get those extracurriculars and clubs and sports.
Nearly 60% of children between the ages of 12 and 17 have received their first dose, while roughly 11% have received 2 doses, which is why today Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health is issuing a call for arms, asking young people to roll up their sleeves for September.
We want our young people to be able to enjoy social activities again at schools and colleges and universities. We want them to enjoy their sports, the music, theater, and social events. And for that to occur safely, we need a very high level of immunization.
But Dr. Moore hasn't said what that threshold should actually be. Other public health officials say the province should aim as high as it possibly can.
I think the province ideally would want at least 80% of youth vaccinated. It would ideally be 90 or more percent of everybody, including youth.
Which means the countdown is on before school starts in September. Some medical officers of health believe schools will need to keep up with those pandemic practices, such as social distancing, masking, and ventilation as well. They say it needs a bit of time to see whether it's successful before starting to pull them back. At Queen's Park, Colin DeMello, CTV News.
And there are available appointments for students 12 and older to get their shots. Earlier this evening, Women's College Hospital tweeted that they still had vaccine left and no lines at 2 clinics that were scheduled to stay open until 8:30 p.m. Those clinics at St. Oscar Romero Secondary and Oakwood Collegiate are running again tomorrow. There are also thousands of appointments available at clinics operated by the City of Toronto, including some open spots for tomorrow. You can find the latest developments on our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca/vaccines. And we'll have more news in a moment. First, let's give you a live look at the city tonight. This is a quick look at the Don Valley Parkway right now, where we've got partly cloudy skies and 26 degrees. The heat warning still in effect at this hour. Lindsay Morrison joins us now with our first look at the forecast.
Well, Zoraida, another hot and muggy day. Uncomfortable for many. We ended up making it to an afternoon high of 32 degrees in the city of Toronto. But of course, once you factored in the humidity, it felt closer to 40. This isn't quite record heat. The record for this day is 36.3 degrees, and that was set back in the year 2012. So not even that long ago. Downtown Toronto, you didn't find much relief today near the shores of Lake Ontario, thanks in part to the direction of the winds. Tonight's lows not quite as hot as it was overnight last night, and there is relief the further north you go outside of the city, but it's still warm, especially for this time of year. And as we make our way into tomorrow morning, we are looking at some unsettled weather conditions, showers, and even the risk of a thunderstorm. That includes us here in the city of Toronto, but there's another part of Ontario that's more likely to be dealing with some active weather. We'll tell you all about it with a full look at your weather forecast coming up. But for now, Zoraida, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. In York Region, a police officer is facing a fraud charge, accused of working as a realtor while he was supposed to be on duty as a constable. CTV's Sean Leathong has the details.
A member of York Regional Police has been charged with fraud, allegedly working as a real estate agent while they were supposed to be doing police work.
If you're a private sector employee, if you're a public sector employee, you can't have another job on your work time.
In a press release, York Police say an investigation began this past spring, and that investigation revealed that a YRP employee was working as a realtor during his scheduled YRP working hours.
It's fraudulent, it's essentially theft of your company's pay, and it's cause for discharge.
Charged is 30-year-old Constable Jamil Antonio Said of Markham with 1 count of fraud under $5,000. Century 21 Leading Edge Realty in Markham lists an Antonio Said as a realtor with their brokerage, and a representative confirmed they are aware he is a police officer. Said has been with York Regional Police since 2013 and was most recently working in the Information Management Unit. According to the Ontario Sunshine List, he earned $112,000 in 2020. Employment lawyer Howard Levitt says that while it may be legal to have a second job, the accusation of using company time for that second job is the core issue.
And that, of course, is fraudulent against any employer. The fact that he's a police officer doesn't really change that.
York Regional Police would not comment on camera for this story, but did confirm that Said is currently suspended with pay. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
Next to a dog left in a hot car for hours. This puppy's owner now charged under the Animal Welfare Services Act. CTV's John Musselman has more.
York Regional Police say this is the puppy that was rescued from inside the car. A concerned citizen noticed the dog in the back seat at Vaughan Mills and called the police. Investigators say the dog was lethargic, panting heavily, and it had no water.
The officer fortunately was able to kind of think creatively and use the baton to open the car door from kind of going in through the sunroof. So fortunately, once the dog was removed from the car, the officer brought the dog into their cruiser, which was air conditioned, and got the dog some water.
Police say the dog is okay. This happened on June 30th. Investigators say security camera footage from the mall shows the dog was left inside the car for nearly 3 hours. The temperature that day was 29 degrees Celsius. Police say it was much hotter inside that car. A 20-year-old Toronto woman has been charged with causing distress to an animal under the Provincial Animal Welfare Services Act.
A vehicle becomes like an oven inside. If anyone's gotten into a car after it's been sitting out in the parking lot, it is unbearably hot. So very, very concerning, and something that we never want to see happen again.
York Regional Police say the dog did not need veterinary care and was returned to the owner.
Unfortunately, because the dog was okay, the dog had to be returned to the owner, but we are obviously hopeful that the owner will learn from this situation and make better choices in the future.
Police say this is a reminder to never leave pets unattended in a vehicle.
John Musselman, CTV News.
Toronto's Dundas Street is another step closer to undergoing a name change. The city's executive committee voted in favor of the move. The street is currently named after Henry Dundas, a Scottish politician with ties to slavery. The change would involve the replacement of more than 730 street signs, as well as changing the name of Young Dundas Square, transit infrastructure, and other city landmarks that bear his name. That could cost the city more than $6 million. The final vote is expected at a council meeting next week. The city is also considering a hike to the land transfer tax that could see Toronto's high-end homes cost even more. But as CTV's Natalie Johnson reports, some experts are warning that raising the tax would come at a cost.
This North York home hit the market 2 weeks ago and quickly sold for $2.6 million. The buyer is on the hook for more than $100,000 in upfront land transfer taxes to seal the deal.
Most of the people who are purchasing homes over $2 million are just average buyers and sellers who are moving up in a market that they've been able to do so in the last few years.
But Toronto councillors are now eyeing the option of an increase to the municipal land transfer tax on high-value homes, a hike that could generate much-needed revenue for the city.
We should be very careful in that regard because I just think that right now we're coming out of a pandemic situation which has been very difficult for a lot of people.
City staff have crunched the numbers and say that hiking the municipal land transfer tax to 3% or more on the portion of the sale price above $2 million could generate up to $30 million in incremental revenue a year for the city.
These kinds of upfront expenses lead to a large number of people deciding not to buy a home.
In a new report out today, the C.D. Howe Institute argues the move could reduce real estate sales and have a broader economic cost.
These kinds of taxes put sand in the gears of the economy. They change people's behavior.
The broker who just sold this property, meanwhile, argues that in a hot housing market where money is cheap, a $2 million threshold is arbitrary.
The problem is when the average detached home in the 416 is $1.7 million, $2 million is only about 17-18% higher than that. So really you're targeting a segment of the market that is not really true luxury.
City staff also point out the tax could discourage homeowners from upsizing and tighten housing supply for mid-value homes. Council would have to sign off on any hikes that would make high-end homes even more expensive. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
Coming up here on CTV News, dodging speeding cyclists on a popular Toronto trail. The call to reduce the risk after a scary incident witnessed by a woman now mobilizing to make change.
Well, what a difference a cold front can make. It is going to feel at least 10 degrees cooler tomorrow in the city of Toronto. Our forecast daytime high is 21. Still going to feel a little humid into the upper 20s, but not the upper 30s this time around. And we're talking teen temperatures in some areas north and east of the city. So when we have less in the way of humidity, that also generally helps with our air pollution levels. We can expect levels to be low in and around the GTA for your Wednesday. How's the rest of the week shaping up, and what about that weekend? We've got a detailed look at your 7-day forecast coming up next here on CTV News. We'll be right back.
In-store and online, StruckTube is your destination to discover a full range of modern furniture at exceptionally low prices. Take advantage now of our free delivery with any purchase over $299. StruckTube. Low prices, amazing styles.
The best part of stepping into the spotlight isn't the awards or the acclaim. The best part of stepping into the spotlight is helping others step into theirs. Ram, 3-time winner of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. This month, get up to $4,750 in discounts on Ram 1500, plus up to $3,000 in loyalty cash for select owners.
Yep, I'm a blood-sucking parasite, and proud of it. As irritating and annoying as I can be to your best friends, I also spread disease-causing germs that quickly infest your home, with a little help from my friends.
Infostop rapidly kills fleas on dogs and cats and may reduce flea allergy dermatitis. Zodiac offers vet technology flea protection with Infostop, available exclusively at pet stores throughout Canada.
Often, insurance companies are denying disability claims on the basis that there's insufficient medical evidence. If you've been denied long-term disability, don't give up. We can help.
Your long-term disability through Kotak Law.
When you play at OLG.ca, your personal and payment data is secure. So play for fun. Play for the excitement. But don't play around with your online security. Play it safe. Play at OLG.ca. With the new OLG.ca, you can now buy your favorite lottery tickets online from anywhere. Sign up now at OLG.ca.
Every day, more and more people across Ontario are receiving their COVID-19 vaccine. All Health Canada approved vaccines are safe and conveniently available in hospitals, doctors' offices, pharmacies, and mass vaccination sites. And every dose brings us closer to what we've missed. So join millions of Ontarians. Do your part and get your shot. Book your appointment today. Visit ontario.ca/bookvaccine.
More than ever, our homes are our sanctuaries. It's where we live, work, and share special moments. Now during the Alexanian chain-wide grand opening sale, you can refresh and add style to your home with stunning flooring, like stain-proof pet carpet, $349 a square foot installed, waterproof luxury vinyl, $349 a square foot, and save up to 70% on area rugs. Visit Alexanian's 20 locations, including our new store at 295 High-Tech Road, Richmond Hill.
Still 26 degrees right now, feeling like 31 as we take another live look at the city skyline right now. It was another hot and humid day today. There is some relief on the way. Here's Lindsay with your forecast.
Well, recently, Zoraida, the daytime hours haven't been too bad here in the GTA. It's been hot, but it's been mostly dry. It's the nighttime hours that have been more unsettled. That changes as we make our way through Wednesday and Thursday. In fact, you're going to want to keep the umbrella handy for both of those days. Weather is brought to you by the Pressler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Now doesn't this look inviting? You didn't need an umbrella during the early part of the day today unless it was for shade. Our CTV News chopper captured this scene at Sunnyside Pool in Toronto, a perfect place to cool off and beat the heat on a day like this. City-run pools are open to the public. Tomorrow, you might not need one quite as badly. It's going to be generally cooler. And yes, we've got some active weather to contend with as well. Let's take a look at tomorrow at a glance. Afternoon high 21 degrees, still feeling into the upper 20s once you factor in the humidity. This time winds are going to be coming out of of the east. And yes, we have a few showers in the forecast. Also a risk of a thunderstorm. We've been experiencing those along a frontal system making its way south across the lower Great Lakes. And we've got some measurable rain in the forecast too, which is great news for lawns, gardens around the area. About 18 millimeters, generally 15 to 20 is what we're expecting in Toronto over the next couple of days. But areas that do in fact get an embedded or isolated thunderstorm, likely to see a little more rainfall than that. Waking up tomorrow morning, the weather is going to be particularly unsettled for portions of cottage country, communities generally speaking to the east of Georgian Bay. But we too have potential for scattered showers throughout the day on Wednesday here in the GTA. As we make our way into Thursday, it becomes perhaps even more unsettled with some embedded thunderstorms possible, but heavier periods of rain around the GTA and in through northern parts of our province also. So cloud cover the next couple of days. Friday, we're going to gradually start to see some improvements. In fact, as we make our way into Thursday night, the rain is going to taper off. It's also going to be cooler as a result. 19 is the forecast high for Thursday afternoon. If that suddenly feels cool, don't worry. We're looking at a gradual return to more seasonal values as we make our way into the weekend. Right now, both Saturday and Sunday are looking pleasant with a mix of sun and cloud in the forecast. Looks like a little bit of heat will build once again as we make our way through the middle part of next week. And right now I've got my eye on Tuesday for the next opportunity for rain once we get past tomorrow and Thursday. That's your look at the weather. Zoraida, back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, despite the potential of wet weather, it is an exciting time for thrill seekers. Canada's Wonderland opens to the general public tomorrow. This comes after a couple of preview days for season pass holders. The reopening made possible by the province entering Step 2. There are new health and safety protocols in place, including booking your reservation in advance and reduced capacity. In a city full of drivers, cyclists and pedestrians sharing the road can be a delicate balance. But in one Toronto neighborhood, the anger is boiling over. CTV's Beth McDonnell has more.
Pushing her son's stroller in High Park every day, Colleen Berbesson says she sees problems with some cyclists on the sidewalk, missing stop signs, biking outside of lanes, and speeding over the 20-kilometer limit. She says it's endangering pedestrians and children learning to ride their bikes.
I saw an accident with a little girl a week ago, and she just hit the cyclist because he was going way too fast. But she got really scared, and I was scared as well. And her head hit the pavement, but luckily she was wearing a helmet.
Berbesson says problems with speeding cyclists exist on the multi-purpose Martin Goodman Trail along Lakeshore West, too. She started a petition calling for more car-free hours in the area, separate lanes for faster and slower cyclists, and wider bike lanes.
We have to improve the cohabitation between the pedestrian and cyclist, because today, I guess the cyclist doesn't have the infrastructure to practice.
The city council for the area says when it comes to the Martin Goodman Trail, parts have already been reconfigured. Some have safety barriers, and it's the network that needs a rethink. In High Park, a city survey is underway to improve travel, prioritize safety and accessibility, but a solution is not expected for another 2 years.
Maybe taking automobiles out more often, maybe reorganizing the relationship between pedestrians and cyclists. It's part of a whole lot of work we're going to have to do for an entirely different city. Our population is growing, but our road space is not.
Some advocates say while making more space for pedestrians and cyclists long-term without vehicles is a good start, there are things that could be done right now to make trails safer for everyone. Berbesson says education, people simply following the rules, along with more and better signage would make a big difference.
An e-bike. And now those are a little more questionable because they go over 20 kilometers an hour.
Philip Chan has been cycling along the Martin Goodman Trail for 30 years and believes it's safe. He says he makes sure to slow down and give kids a wide berth.
There's close encounters, there's people walking, and during the pandemic a little bit worse. I don't see a problem with it necessarily.
Encounters many hope can be prevented with the return of active TO to Lakeshore West on several weekends this summer. The city says it's received several complaints about cyclists, mostly regarding their speed, and is working with Cycling Toronto to help with public education and a visual presence. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
as cases go down and vaccinations go up. What's the province's plan for reopening? Live updates on air, online, and on the iHeartRadio app on CP24.
You're too depressed to work. You know it, and your doctor knows it. And still, your long-term disability insurer denies your claim. My name is Aaron Waxman, and I've spent my career helping disabled people just like you. Call me at 416-661-4878 or pound LTD on your cell phone. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or pound LTD.
The dreaded bandwidth tug of war. Switch to Bell. With speeds of up to 1.5 gigabits per second, Pure Fiber Internet has speeds for everyone in the house.
Magic trick number 51. Now you can let the outdoors in while keeping the nasty bits out. Integrated bug screens, only with the magic window wall. It's not really magic. It's just better, smarter thinking.
This is Superfan Navatia. Welcome to the all-new Mississauga Hyundai. Don't pay for 90 days. Lease from 0%. Finance from 0%. Essential workers pay 2% above invoice pricing. The Superfan is having a super sale on Canada's biggest new car inventory. Looking for a Hyundai? I'm your guy. Visit nabatiashyundai.com.
It's the Save the Tax event at Leon's. Get special prices on furniture, plus save the tax. Save big on mattresses, plus save the tax. And get Boxing Week specials on appliances and TVs. Limited time only. Visit leons.ca for details.
Yep, I'm a blood-sucking parasite, and proud of it. As irritating and annoying as I can be to your best friends, I also spread disease-causing germs that quickly infest your home, with a little help from my friends.
InfoStop rapidly kills fleas on dogs and cats and may reduce flea allergy dermatitis. Zodiac offers vet technology flea protection with InfoStop, available exclusively at pet stores throughout Canada.
We're for the bold, the daring, the kitchen creators and flavor trailblazers, braisers, roasters, all-day smokers, wood stove crafters, grill and saute masters. However you bring out the flavor, Field Roast is the deliciously bold plant-based meat you've been craving. After all, flavor favors the bold. Get ready to make taste happen.
Closed captioning of this CP24 program is brought to you by Seneca College's virtual open house. Available online July 21st from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at senecacollege.ca.
Jays are back in action, opening up a 3-game series against Baltimore.
And a swing and a fly ball to center and deep. Mullins to the wall. It's gone.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting his 28th home run of the season as the Jays try to close the gap against the Orioles. But it would be Baltimore taking the win tonight, beating the Jays 7-5. Game 2 goes tomorrow. Well, records obtained by CTV News reveal what government inspectors found while doing inspection blitzes at big box stores and others. The goal to keep customers safe in the pandemic, but the inspectors found that wasn't always the case. CTV's John Woodward reports.
At this Shoppers Drug Mart in Kitchener, inspectors found 7 contraventions of the Reopening Ontario Act in one January visit, including failing to mask up, clean, and a manager who seemed completely unaware of most of the ROA requirements and was combative at times. I don't have the confidence that the business is willing to fully comply. The store got 1 ticket for the highest number of observed contraventions in some 2,000 records of the big box inspection blitz obtained by CTV News through a Freedom of Information request.
In January, we targeted big box stores. We found that there were challenges and issues.
Challenges in some chains more than others. Here's our top 10 list by chains where inspectors saw contraventions. At the top, at 2.2 contraventions per visit on average, Hasty Market. At one of its Welland stores, inspectors issued 4 tickets, tied for the highest in our sample, and wrote the employer did not have any protocol in place to keep employees or the public safe. Over in Vaughan, inspectors issued 4 orders, also tied for highest to this Freshco on a return visit, saying workers were not happy to see us after they were caught sitting beside the produce with their masks off. In all, 214 tickets with accompanying fines and 237 orders to do better in over 2,000 inspections. Small business advocates say if they'd been allowed to open, they'd have done better.
Meanwhile, small businesses were forced by the government to stay closed, which was completely frustrating and unfair.
I think the decision wasn't made on really what's the safest way to operate. I think they just took a look at who's our friends.
Even as the province reopens, inspectors are still out there, with the minister saying he expects everyone to follow the rules. John Woodward, CTV News.
On air, online, on every platform. A story you'll only see here. CTV News Toronto, winner of the RTDNA Award for Best Breaking News.
Another record has been broken.
Watch weeknights at 6.
It's the tax-free event at ChairSource. Now shop online or in-store and pay no tax. Like on home office chairs, a variety of sofas and loungers, dining chairs, hundreds of bar stools, Canadian-made tables, and exclusive and custom designs. Choose from thousands of options and styles, all tax-free. ChairSource, 8305 Jane Street, north of Highway 7.
Do you have a question about personal injury? Can I sue?
I'm Wendy of Sokoloff Lawyers. I have over 30 years of experience and I can answer your questions, so call me.
Don't put it off, call Sokoloff.
Do you want a healthy home? Get your rugs cleaned by Love Your Rug. Steam cleaning your rugs won't remove dust and allergens. Love Your Rug's 6-stage process means your rugs get cleaned properly. Free pickup and delivery services all over Ontario.
It's time to love your rug.
Do you have a wet, damp, or moldy basement? Call the oldest and largest waterproofing company. Call RCC. Whether your basement needs to be repaired from the outside